Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturdays video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing this morning? Welcome to Small Business Saturdays. My name is Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me over at aaronmontgomery.info. It's the best place to find me. So let's see who's checking in here. Todd, good morning. Tanya, good morning. And Martha, good morning. Thank you guys so much for checking in. If you're also checking in, love to see who's here and see who's watching this morning. So as you saw on the opening card there today, today's topic is about mastering our to-do list and trying to get to the right things. And good morning, Honeybee Creations over there on YouTube. Cool. Thank you for checking it out on YouTube. Yep, trying to get a little better at YouTube here. So good stuff. Chuck, good morning. And Barbara, good morning. Will is checking in as well. Will, thank you for joining me this morning. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much for checking in. And like I said, today's topic is going to be about mastering our to-do list. So let me start off with asking you guys a question. How do you guys master your to-do list? What is your to-do list? Do you have a specific app that you do? And do you use your email inbox as your to-do list? What's your specific to-do list, so to speak? Do you just have Post-it notes, or do you have a spreadsheet, or all sorts of different stuff? So Michelle, happy Saturday to you. Yes, excited for another Saturday. Always great to have Small Business Saturday, and always love the enthusiasm out of Todd. Thank you, sir. Yeah, buddy, let's do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell in the mic there, guys. So anyhow, tell me, what are your guys' to-do lists? How do you manage your tasks? What's your method? Maybe you do a couple different things, but what's your main method when you say, okay, I need to do this? How do you keep track of that? Do you just remember it? Are you brilliant to a point where you can remember all those things, or just, you have that ability? So let me know what you guys do. And so we'll start waiting for those to come in, and you guys let me know how you're doing your task list. But, I actually use a product called Todoist, and we're going to look at that here in just a second. But not selling you anything. It's actually got a free version. And Sandy says, "Good morning. A sheet of paper and a notebook for me." That is perfect. Todd says, "Have our day broken down into sections and write out a to-do list each day. Going to create a weekly planner to prioritize items each day." Good. So notes. Yeah, I've used. I've started using. Just found these kind of journal type things on Amazon. So, and as you can see, I got. Let me get to the right page here. Got started on writing out today's to-do list this morning, but anyhow, I figured, hey, you know what? Let's go through this first, and then we'll get that. So writing it out, that's a good one. Anybody else got anything else that they use specifically that works for them, or the way that you go about it? What are the problems that you guys have with having a notebook or just a piece of paper that you're writing it out on each day? Is there any downfalls to that? Any pitfalls that you guys see? Marcy says, "I use a daily planner." So great stuff there. Okay, so we're small business owners, right? We're here for Small Business Saturdays, so we're small business owners, and so my guess is you all wear a ton of hats, lots of different things, So you've got to take out the trash. You also have to build your website. You also have to do your Facebook posts. You also have to do the accounting. You probably also have to make the product and all sorts of stuff. So Todd had another comment, and squirrel, as per usual for me. You always have to plan for unexpected things to come up, like that funhouse tour yesterday. Yes, thank you for taking me on that tour. That was awesome, Todd. I'm excited to see where you guys end up settling. But Mel Robbins' daily journal. Have never mastered a to-do list. Many hourly interruptions. That Michelle, that's and Marcy says, master at juggling hats. Absolutely. And that's actually a skill that small business owners need to have, is that master of juggling hats. And, I've had varying degrees of success with the juggling. And so for me, I had to come up with a system to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I find myself a lot of times, if I'm not keeping up with my to-do list or having an actual system for this, that I find myself going, oh crap, I forgot about that. I should have done that. Or, or have other times where I've finished the day just wondering, what the heck did I do today? Yesterday was a great example of that. I did a lot of things. I felt like I got some things accomplished, but at the end of the day, I looked up and I go, man, I did not really get anything super important done. Not to say that I didn't get things done, but anyhow, so, if you kind of go with the fireman method of, just putting out whatever fire shows up in front of you, you're basically going to be doing tasks for others as opposed to tasks that you need to do for yourself. So anyhow, that's what this came from for me. I like I said, I go from varying degrees of actually being really good at this to not being so good. I got into a rut there in the fourth quarter, so I'm really trying to get back to this and doing that. So that's what I wanted to share this with you guys. So if you happen to be listening to the podcast version of this afterwards, which you can check out at smallbusinesssaturdayspodcast.com. You can check that out there if you want to listen to these later. They're several months behind there, and they just kind of get put up every Saturday. And so that way, if you're not able to check out the video version, you've got an audio version that you can check out there as a podcast. But if you are checking out the podcast version today, make sure you head over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/aaronmontgomery.info. So you can also check out the video version, because I am going to go ahead and put up a screen share here. And let me get to the right tab. So as I mentioned, and let me get to a couple comments here. I felt the same way yesterday, but after looking at our list, we completed 90% of it. So good job, Todd. I did not, but I did accomplish some great things that I didn't even have on the list. So that's, again, why I need to get back to this. I put my to-do list on the margins in my planner. Appointments go on the timeline, and I document what I do daily to see if I attained any goals, scratch through items on the to-do list. Perfect. So, and systemizing that and having your way to do it is very important. So what I do is I use a system called Todoist. I like it because, and you can see it here on the screen, it's just Todoist, ToDoist.com. And I like it because it works with Gmail. So I can, if I have emails that I want to turn into tasks, I can do that easily with that, and things like that. So in fact, I'm going to go ahead and post a link to that in case you want to go click on it and check it out. Anyhow, as you can see, I've got my tasks, and I've got lots of overdue things and all sorts of whatnot. So first step is to kind of have that master list and getting there. So we want to have a system and filter. So I'm going to take this back down here real quick and just come back to the video, and we'll come right back to that in a second. But the first thing that you want to do here is you do want to have a system. So Marcy's got a system, Todd's got a system. Having your own system is extremely important. And my system might not work for you. Your system might not work for me. And so that's okay. That's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about make sure that you have a system, and then I'm going to share what I do and go from there. So the reason to have a system, though, is the first thing we want to do is we want to filter things that come across our plate every day. Like what happened to me yesterday. I had a lot of things come across my plate, and if I don't filter it, like, okay, should I do this? So here's the three things that I look at: do, delegate, or dump. So you can basically go, okay, this thing here, do I need to do it? And if I do need to do it, can I do it right now and it be efficient and effective? So do I need to respond to this email? Do I need to whatever? So do it. Should I delegate it? Should I ask somebody else to do it? Now, if you have somebody else that's working with you, should I get a virtual assistant to help me with that? I had a couple of tasks that way yesterday that I actually sent over to a virtual assistant, and there we go. You had to lay that out. So delegated. My wife helps me out, so she takes on some of these things and whatnot. And then dump. Dump is actually one that we don't do enough of. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. I can give that a shot, but does it really matter? Do I really have to do that? or is somebody else just asking me to do that because they didn't do what they needed to do? So do, dump, delegate is the first thing to kind of filter through. And then if it is a do and you can't just quickly take care of it and be done with it and out of your hair, then I add it to my master task list. And that's where this Todoist comes into play for me. So I've added it there, and you can see I've been able to, projects, so I can, not projects, sorry, labels. So I've got Two Rare Guys stuff, writing stuff that I do, pick the gift stuff, things for my family, Montco stuff, personal speaking, things that I do need to delegate, all that kind of stuff. The other filter to kind of look at here is I also use this master just to kind of capture ideas. I have a whole bunch of things on this list here that are ideas, thoughts that I had that are great, but maybe I don't really need to do that right away. So I haven't put any like timeline on it. Now, I took off all the priorities and stuff like that because I'm redoing this, but so then I can get back to what's due today. You can see a lot of overdue stuff that I didn't get to yesterday, and blah blah blah. So anyhow, that's all that there. So that's the first thing I want to do. I just want to get it to a task list. Let me see if I've got some comments here. Todd says, are you able to print it out? Crossing out something versus clicking a button makes me feel more accomplished. That's a great and Marcy says, I like physical scratch offs too. And yes, you are able to print it. So I can print it, and here, let me put that back up. Sorry. I can print it and say include comments, and then I can print it out and it has it all there. So I can scratch that off. Now here's what I do is I use this just as my review. And then I do actually still write them down into a notebook here. And again, I haven't got to today's yet, but so those are good questions. Yeah. So do you want to print it out? Again, the physically checking something off. So I really love, in fact, I'll go back to this one more time. I really love the fact that I can click a button, because within Todoist, it also has a, I don't know, they call it a karma setting. So let's just say I completed this. So I click on it, and I've said that I want to get 6 things accomplished a day. My daily goal, 1 of 6 tasks are done. And I can look at weekly. Again, need to get back to keeping up with this. So, and then I'm a grandmaster of finishing off tasks. So it's, again, everybody's system is going to be a little bit different for them. This is what I like, and this is what I've used. The other nice part about it is that I can share it with my wife easily, so we can both add stuff to it. We can both take stuff off of it. We can both accomplish things. We can both kind of grab it. So we just add a tag and say, okay, this is mine. This is yours. Again, our goal is to review that kind of stuff every morning, and again, put it into my journal notebook that I carry around with me. So that's the first part. And again, I think if you're just have some sort of a system there, you're way further ahead than a lot of people that I've talked to. So I'm really proud to hear that you guys all have some sort of a system for you, and sounds like they're great and they're doing good. So that part's the first part. The second part, though, here's where I think I have fallen short, and then the third part is where I just am developing this right now. So the second part is I want to run my tasks through some sort of filter. Now, I know we'll talk about a lot of things, and like, God, that seems like you're adding just more work, but we'll talk about why this, and then this just becomes a quick calculation in your head. But the first filter that I like to sort it through is this 4 quadrants thing. And this is from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And in fact, I will put a link to that up there if you want to check it out. Just go over to Amazon. This is an affiliate link. So if you're not an Amazon person or you want to use an affiliate link, then please don't. But you can find it in anywhere. It's called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey, and you can see it at the top there. So I'm posting that link right now. Within that, basically, it's talking about these 4 quadrants and where do the tasks fall. So the first quadrant is important and urgent, demanding, necessity, daily fire, that able to, like, crisis, pressing problem that's also important for you to do. The next quadrant over here is the things like strategies, planning, business planning, marketing planning, training, all of these things that are very important to our success, but they're also not like time, like I don't have to have it done right this immediate second. So it's not urgent. Now, what happens is these kinds of tasks typically get put over there, but because they're not urgent, they get pushed off. They get continue to just keep getting pushed down the to-do list, So it's important to make sure that these number 2 quadrant tasks actually stay up towards the top. And then you've got the third quadrant. These are urgent but not important. So these are the interruptions, the busy work, the things that people put in front of us that is important to them, but it's not important to us and our future goals and success. So these are the ones that we want to avoid and basically put them back on the people that are actually responsible for them, or just avoid them. If it's busy work, to do busy work, we want to try to avoid that as much as we can. And then the fourth quadrant is things that are not important, nor are they urgent. So this is time wasting, entertainment only, things like that. Now, not to say that these tasks we want to just get rid of. These doesn't necessarily have to be tasks, but you do need to have a little bit of this in your life. You need to have that balance. You need to have that recharge time. Now, what I try to do with the recharge time is make it more of a quadrant 2 activity where I think about it in that quadrant 2 sense, to where it's like, this is important to me. If I don't have this recharge time, I'm not going to be able to give my best. So anyhow, those are the 4 quadrants. Kind of stick them in there, and then that's one sort of filter. So the goal here is to figure out how we can do the things that are going to give us the greatest amount of return, and that's where the third part comes in. And we're going to flip over to something here. Another book here that I think is a really good one. It's called Procrastinate on Purpose, and I've probably talked about it before. And I will put a link to this Amazon link right in there, and I will put that in the comments. Sharon says, working the day job today. Can't wait to watch the replay of this. Great info. Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate that feedback. Wonderful. And hopefully have a wonderful day today. All right. So here's the next one. It's called Procrastinate on Purpose. Great book, but there's a section in it that I really want to talk about here. And this is the third, to me, this is the third kind of, so you've filtered with the do, dump, delegate, then you've filtered again with the 4 quadrants. Now let's filter again by adding a significance calculation. And so you ask, what does significance calculation mean? Well, again, read the book and you'll get a lot of great information. And the Procrastinate on Purpose is actually really interesting, because he basically is talking about the fact that we might not need to actually do something. And there may be cases where you're better off waiting until the last possible second. This is not to say procrastinate so you're late. This is to say procrastinate so you're immediately on time at the exact right time for that task. So if you add a significance calculation to things, then that helps you do the right things at the right time. And that significance calculation is basically like a return on investment. What's the opportunity cost? If I do this task right now and I take that 30 minutes of my time to do that task, my time is valuable. So if my time is valuable, which your time is valuable, my time is valuable, time is that finite resource that we all have the exact same amount of. So the richest person in the world, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts, they have the exact amount of time in the day that you do. So that resource is very valuable to us. So what is that 30 minutes of my time? What does that do for me to reach my goals? Can this task make a significant impact? And Will says a book called Procrastinate on Purpose. I'm in. And Marcy says, I've become a procrastinator. I actually seem to work better under pressure. Ugh, not sure it's healthy. Yes. And Marcy, I am that exact same way. It kind of pushed things to the end. And if you read that book, it actually talks about the fact that that's actually not great, that you don't want to push it to the very end to where you are completely under pressure, but you want to push it back to a point where you can get it done exactly on time, because things are changing so quickly in our world that you may want to work on this today, but you might find out next week that something's changed or you need to do something differently. So basically to try to avoid rework is why you're going to procrastinate. So anyhow, getting back to the significance part of it though, this is to me where we can get the most bang for our buck with our to-do list, because as you saw with my to-do list here, I've got a massive amount of things on it, and I'm not going to get those done every day. So this is where now, when I go and transfer these things into my notebook here, this is where I then take and figure out, okay, these show up because I want to keep it in front of me and I want to know that they're due. But then when I can make that significance calculation and say, well, what's most important for me to get done today? And I list those at the top, and then we go from there. So making that significance calculation is huge towards getting the right things done at the right time that are going to get you as close to your goal as possible. So I know, like I said, that obviously seems like a lot, and you're like, wow, we're just adding more work to actually just do a to-do list. But once you get your system in place, once you start putting what works for you in place along those things, figure out the filters that are important to you. Like I said, I like the 7 habits thing. I like this procrastinate on purpose thing. I like to make significance calculations about things. I mean, you can take this and make a significance calculation based on, should I buy the $5 cup of Starbucks coffee, which he talks about in the book. And successful, wealthy people, instead of going, do I have the $5 to spend? They say, is that $5 something that I could save, invest, and turn into $50 or turn into $100? Not to say that rich and wealthy people don't buy the $5 Starbucks, but they think about it that way first, and they make that significance calculation. Same thing should be done with your tasks. Is it important for me to work? I don't know. I've got different notes that I've wrote down here. Is it important for me to spend time doing some busy work activity? Probably not. And then what that does is, if you can make that significance calculation, then that allows you to ask the next question, which is, if I don't do that, is anybody going to notice? Is it going to affect me negatively? Most often with those busy work kind of tasks, as long as we just have that conscious thought about, do I really have to do that? And a lot of times we just do the busy work because it's in front of us, and we just do, and we go, and we're in the groove, we're flowing. But if I can stop before I do that task and say, do I really need to do this? No. So that's a dump. And you know what? If it's written down and you love the crossing off, then cross it off, because that's completing a task right there. You've just dumped it. So you've completed it. So now it's out of your brain. You don't have to waste any more of your brain power on it, and you're ready to move on. So that's my whole thing in a nutshell. What questions, comments do you guys have? Cindy, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. And Marcy says, yes, changes and working in the now drive my procrastination. Absolutely. And Marcy, I'm right there with you. So perfect stuff. What other questions, comments? What do you guys do? What I miss? What do you suggest for me? What am I not getting right here? And Todd says, this year we will crush it. Absolutely. We all will crush it. Cindy, good morning. Thank you for tuning in this morning. So again, let me know what questions, comments, and things that you have. Like I said, I know this is going to seem like, man, I'm doing a lot more work here. But once you get your system in place, you will find that system and the time you took to put this system in place for you will pay huge dividends in getting you extra time back, because now you're doing the right things at the right time. You're able to dump things that don't need to be done, and you need to kind of go from there. So Tanya says, my biggest pet peeves are having to rework items and constant interruptions. These were great tips and resources. And Wade says, I plan to kill it this year. Yes, you do, Wade. Excellent stuff. So Tanya, I love this comment. I'm the same way, yet I am the master of chasing the squirrel. So interruptions really get me. So yeah, just finding a way to schedule that out. And that's kind of really where the next step of this thing comes in here, is that once you do have that system, and make sure that you're taking that system and you're making a habit out of it. So again, the habit that I'm trying to form here is to then take that to-do thing and take that task list and start every morning with okay, what are my goals? And just rewriting out my goals, just big goals, general goals, rewriting those things out, and then taking my task list and going, okay, here's my task list. What on here is going to get me the closest to my goals? And then from there, you're going to, then plan out your day and schedule those tasks that are very important. So Todd is a great example of this. He's been on here and talked about this. And Todd, blocks out a certain time of his day to do certain things. And so, because he knows what his schedule is, he knows when the gates are open and he's going to have interruptions, and he knows when these things happen. So, that's where you need to then take it and make that habit of planning, getting what works for you. Like I said, I love the little notebook thing because it just seems easy to carry and going from there. So let's get a couple of comments here. Todd says, believe in yourself. I know each and every one of you have it in you to be successful. Absolutely. Agreed. Will's got another great book suggestion. So I'm going to copy this because I have not read this one yet. Another great book, Tyranny of Urgent. Who's that by, Will? It does sound a little bit familiar, but I haven't read that one yet. And Todd says, and things won't always go as planned, so don't get down on yourself when they go off the rails. That's a huge point, Todd, and I've probably been a little bit remiss with this. As you can see, if we go back to my to-do list here, yeah. So I've got 22 projects on the list for today. Am I going to get 22 projects done? Heck no, because right after this, I'm going to play volleyball with my son for a couple hours, and I'm going to do some family time and all that stuff. So, and look what I missed yesterday. These are the overdue tasks here. So yeah, did I get things done that I want to get done? But did I get a step closer to my definition of success? Absolutely, because I was working towards things that were important. So I'm not getting down on myself for not getting there. I just know, okay, now I need to rework this and go and do this again. So that is a great point, Todd. Thank you for sharing that. Marcy says, January 1st every year, I clean out email 100% file, delete, set up new folders current year. Same thing for my filing cabinet, the daily planner, and I feel in control of all things business. That's a great tip, Marcy. The email box is probably our biggest challenge. Because a lot of tasks come through that way and stuff like that. And some people, in fact, I've done this, have even used their email as a to do like a way to keep your list, and my wife's actually really bad at this. Her email box is full all the time and it drives me bananas. But that's just because we're different. So I have to stop myself and say that's the way she does things. But what happens is you've got all that clutter and you can't get to and you can't be organized. So if you do what Marcy's saying here, where you just clean everything out, one other thing that I like to do is also clear out my sent emails, because emails coming in, those are things from other people. The emails going out from me, those are the things that are important to me. Those are the things that I've responded to. So if there's something in my sent folder that didn't get finished or didn't get followed up with, I take that sent folder and I use that as a way to go, hey, you know what? We didn't finish this project, or we didn't get to where we want to go. So that's really good. I'm also the same way where, I start every year. In fact, I actually go through about 2 of these a year. So January 1st and June-ish, I typically start a new notebook, and which then allows me to start rewriting goals and just things that I want, as I think I put this out there, 2020 is going to be the start of real greatness. And so good stuff there. Wade says, I think my biggest problem is organization. I have to tackle this. Wade, I think that's probably most people's biggest problem, even though some people seem more organized. I'm a Virgo who's really anal and a bit of a neat freak, and think that I'm super organized, but I still myself struggle with that. And what I've learned though is when I can actually stop, take time to actually do that organization, to tackle these projects, as daunting as they seem at the front end of it, the dividends that they pay down the road are going to be huge. So you just have to carve out the time. Maybe, the trade-off is, whatever, something that you like to do personally, if you're a TV watcher or whatever, and I'm saying that you are, Wade, I'm just picking something out. There's shows for me that I like to watch. So what I've done is I've said, you know what, instead of watching the next episode of Josh Gates, whatever, or Barnwood Builders, that's actually one I really love watching. Instead of watching that next episode of Barnwood Builders, I'm not going to do that until I take the time to get organized. Then once I get organized, because I know I've created more time for me later on down the road, then I will go and watch Barnwood Builders. So there you go. Hopefully that helps. Todd says, take your biggest goal of the year, write it on a Post-it, put it on your monitor, read it out loud, close your eyes, picture it, achieve that goal. Great stuff. Todd, I've actually heard something, was watching a thing about Brian Tracy, another kind of self-help guy that I think seems like a pretty good guy. And he actually said to actually rewrite your goals every day. And that act of writing gets your head and your brain going and thinking about ways to achieve that goal. So, but reading it out loud, the same thing, looking in the mirror and saying, I can do this. This is my goal. Those daily affirmations are really important. And, we think they're all wooey and gooey and all this other stuff, but it's not. I mean, this is what successful people do. So good stuff there. He says, I'm still trying to catch up on before Christmas jobs, having to work today. Absolutely. Cindy said that you're working on your quadrant 1 stuff right now. And yeah, you got to get that stuff done. And so get to it, and then come back and reward yourself for getting that done by growing and learning. So Todd says 2 hours into today, and I've completed five projects. Early day is when I'm most productive. I think this is another really good point. So we're going to go into a bit of bonus time today because you guys are bringing some fantastic feedback here. So Todd's point about early in the day is when I'm most productive. So this is the other thing to kind of figure out when you're trying to plan your day out and things like that is for a while, keep a journal of when you feel like you're getting the most done. When you probably know this. If you got to figure it out, then do something like a journal, but you probably know this. So for me, I'm trying to get up earlier, that's why I've been trying to do this early in the morning and some things like that. I moved it back to 8 because it just was really, really killing me, because I am actually a late person. For whatever reason, after 10 o'clock, my brain is just going. I'm solving things, and I used to try to fight it and just sleep through it. But now if I've got something happening, I just get in there, I get it written out, I get it out of my brain, so then I can actually go back and go to sleep. But then I find that sometimes I've been up until 2 or 3 in the morning, and so I need to sleep in. So an early thing isn't going to happen. So for me, I try to actually plan my most important projects towards the end of my day when I am really starting to get that flow for me going. So good stuff there. Marcia says that is something we all need to know. What part of the day are we most productive? For me, it's from noon to 4. So there you go. So midday, really kind of getting going. Again, for me, it's later. For Todd, it's earlier. Everybody's and some people might have the ability to get up and really tackle tasks before the interruptions are happening early in the morning, and then they maybe are also good at kind of regrouping and getting after some things after dinner or right before dinner or something like that. So you don't have to just be one segment, but know yourself and be okay with that. just because you're not a morning person doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. The successful people plan out their day, but they don't have to do it at 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. A lot of people do get up early and they like that because that's before the interruptions start happening for them. But maybe you can carve out time. For me, I'm able to carve out time in the evening where the interruptions are less and all that stuff. So Cindy says, I cannot hang with the all-nighters anymore. I'm getting old. Yeah, Cindy, I can't do, I used to be able to pull the all-nighters quite often. Definitely when I was younger. Like I said, I've always been a bit of a night owl. My dad used to always joke that my hair would curl up at night. I liked the social scene. I liked to, but I was most active in the evenings. That's when I actually like to exercise and work out. I feel the best in the evening. So, but yeah, I used to do those all-nighters all the time. And now I know that I really need to force myself to limit that to maybe once a week, or less if I can, so trying to get a schedule and keep a schedule, and that's all important. But again, figure out what works for you, not what I'm doing, what Todd's doing, what Marcy's doing, or whatever. So, Marcy replies to Cindy, says, I'm so old that I'm often in bed by 8:30. I am right there with you, Marcy. I have found myself in bed at 8:30 many times. So that, again, go with what your rhythm is and where you're most productive. So you guys are awesome. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover today. So the review of this, so the daily planning. One other thing and I guess the one last piece to go back to here is I did show you guys that I've got a no due dates one. So I do like to every 6 months or so go back and review these and see if there's some things that maybe have bubbled up that I need to actually get onto the actual timed list. And also a weekly plan where just kind of look at the week ahead and see what's actually on the schedule already, then try to figure out where and when certain things are going to need to fit. So when I do my daily plan, I can really easily go, yep, I knew that this was coming today, so we're getting after that. So that's kind of the last of it for me. And if you guys have anything else, feel free to go ahead and pop those things in. One last thing for me, we've got oursuccessgroup.com happening. And if you go to oursuccessgroup.com, the first video is happening on Wednesday, the 8th at 7, right, Todd? Yeah, 7. Geez, I don't know why. Just 7 o'clock is when that's happening. So you can still get signed up if you haven't signed up already. I think most of you guys have signed up, but if you'd like to get into that 5 keys thing, the cost right now is $150, so we don't have any discounts going, but get signed up. It's $150. The other thing is, as our success group grows, you will have an opportunity to get that $150 back to invest in more training down the road. So, it may be a $150 investment right now, but if this works and you feel like it's right for you, you're going to have an opportunity, like I said, to get that $150 back and reinvest it into more training, more help, being part of our Masters of Success group, all the cool things that we're working on. If you're not quite ready to jump into the 5 keys videos, but you do want to just kind of be kept abreast of what's happening, you can, scrolling across the bottom there, if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/more info, that will take you to a place where you can sign up there for more info. So make sure that you're on that. And if you guys do have any questions, I will scroll it across the bottom, but you also have it right up top here. My email address is Aaron@Montco Consulting, and I am always open and willing and looking forward to hearing from you and doing all of that stuff. Marcy says the investment is a tax write-off too. Thank you very much. That is a good point. And Todd says, super pumped, can't wait to help people grow. So yeah, I'm really excited about this too, Todd. My wife and I actually, so one last thing, I guess I'll go back and get one more little piece. Like I said, I know we're into bonus time, but I'm going to keep going. So my wife is quite a trooper. She actually goes along with this crazy stuff that I come up with. But one thing that we've tried to do, and we looked last night, and we've been doing it since 2015, every year, is that we plan a date night, but that date night consists of going through a document that we both had a chance to think about and review, which is basically just a recap of 2019 and a look ahead to 2020, what we'd like to accomplish. So there's questions on here like what are 5 things in 2019 that you're most proud of? What new connections have you made and how have they shaped your life? What experiences have made you the happiest? What have been the best moments in your career? What challenges did you overcome this year and how did you do it? What has held you back from achieving what you wanted to do in 2019? I'm just skipping over some of them, but what habits have prohibited you from achieving what you want this year? What habit do you want to enable in 2020 that will make a difference? And what 3 words sum up your year? And if you were to live 2019 all over again, what would you do differently? Like I said, there's a whole bunch of other questions and stuff on here, but we've done that yearly, and it's been great for us because it gives us a chance to really just talk about everything, get on the same page, make sure we're supporting each other, make sure that we understand where each other's coming from. So this has been cool, a yearly review. But the joke is here that, yeah, so my wife, posts like, oh, date night, and guess what? We're planning, and I've had my computer there and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just one of those things. If you're a planner, it's great. And I think we all need to do that a little bit, just step back and work on ourselves, work on our business, as opposed to always tackling the urgent and the tasks there. So let's see here. Cindy says, Cindy says, I will have to sit this one out, but we'll be cheering from the sidelines. Yeah, sounds like you're just going at it, Cindy. So when we can help, let us know. Todd says, I was on the phone for at least 5 hours this week, helping people with things since New Year's. I'm always available too, in one way, shape, or form. Absolutely. You can always find, I try not to bother you, but need to message you with some product questions. Please, Tanya, for me, and I know, and I'm going to speak for Todd because he just said this here, go for it. I'm here for you. You guys are never, ever a bother to us. This is my goal. This is Todd's goal. This is what we've set out to do, is to try to help people. And so if you're not asking me questions, if you're not asking us, if you're not reaching out to us, then I'm not helping. And so I'm not reaching my goals. So Tanya, I just want to make sure that everybody's really clear. Never a bother. Now, there are going to be times where we're going to ask you to do the work and put in the effort, but in knowing you and knowing the people that are here watching today, that's not a problem. You guys have never shown that you're not willing to put in the effort and willing to do the work. So, bring it. Let's figure it out, and we'll point you in the right direction. You do the work. We'll figure out if it worked, and we'll just keep growing, keep moving forward, build. So good stuff there. All right, you guys. She says, I know, but it is time. Absolutely, it is time. But, like I said, these are our number one goals. And so if I do the significance calculation as to what's coming in front of me, and I say, okay, and I can quickly say, okay, do this, and you do the work, not really much time, and achieve my goal. All right, you guys, you are all amazing and awesome, and have a great rest of your Saturday. You can do it. Get out there and crush your business this week. And we will see you. We'll see you Tuesday with Todd. I'm assuming that's happening, Todd. And I'm going to try to pop in, and I won't probably be on, but I'll be in the comments there and checking out. And yes, I am off to play some volleyball with the little guy here. I'm looking forward to that. And go do that. So thanks, Martha. Appreciate it. So Chuck says, most of my problem is distraction. Absolutely. So Chuck, the important part is just planning to not have distractions. And a lot of times distractions happen because people don't know, or so you got to find a way to get away, to let people know, put a sign on the door, whatever the case may be, but carve out that time, plan for it, and just hold on to it. Make that valuable. So you just said most of my problem is distraction. So you've identified the problem. Now identify the solution by finding a way to avoid distractions. You're not going to always avoid all distractions, but if you plan for the right time to do that, then it's on you to hold that time dear and to make sure that those distractions are not happening. All right. So yeah, set boundaries. As Marcy says, good stuff. You guys are awesome. I'm going to check out of here and get off to volleyball. So again, you guys have a great rest of your Saturday. We will see you Tuesday on Tuesday with Todd, and then hopefully we'll see most of you on Wednesday with the first video in the 5 Success Keys video series. All right. Have a great day, everybody.